the Most High will now visit Esau, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakwadash. What I did was I went to the keyword, or I put in the word visit just to put some precepts together. And some of them precepts I was familiar with. Anyway, there's been a lot of talk on the news of Esau going into the subject of UFO sightings. And this the first TV station to really go into it and take this subject seriously was CBS when they did this 60 minutes. I think it was like a 10 to 13 minute segment of the 60-minute show, where he dedicated that 10 to 13, 12 minutes to UFO sightings, and how they admitted that they, through the years, they have tons of information, documents, evidence, film footage, going back as far as 1947. And I'll tell you, in the past, it was 50s. It was actually 1947 when they really started looking into these things in the sky. But anyway, this is the Most High visiting you. Now, the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, can visit you. Well, the scriptures say that the Most High visited. There's scriptures on the Most High visiting Israel. And when we were visited throughout history, it was either for one of two things, to be destroyed. The Most High came and visited us because of our iniquity, and the Most High has visited us through the angels, through the Lord, to deliver us. So just as the Most High came to deliver us for our wickedness, the Most High is going to come into, or is visiting the wicked, which is Esau, because his time is up. Now, like I said, Esau pretty much didn't take this seriously. Now these devils they're taking these so-called UFO sightings or UAP sightings seriously. But the Lord is not going to take this place out and deliver Israel until one major prophecy comes to pass, and that's the great chipping, the mark of the beast. And I'm gonna give you a precept, because you got Israelite groups out there that you got some individuals in different Israelite groups that don't believe that the mark of the beast is the chip is now believing it. One individual is I believe he's an elder, son of the IUIC. So if you ever encountered any of the IUIC groups out there, not that you have to, not that you should, because it's a waste of time, but if you ever encounter them, ask them about the mark of the beast. And when they say no, the mark of the beast is not the microchip, it's sin, it's Christianity, whatever the hell they say, then confront them about elder, son, that he believes that the mark of the beast is the microchip. That's the brother, the tallest brother in IUIC. He knows, and he's gotten in contact with me for the last, I don't know, couple of years. And he basically said, yep, the mark of the beast is the microchip. So I confronted him. I basically asked him, asked him, I said, well, when are you going to teach the rest of the congregation? He basically said they're not ready for it. So he's guilty of putting that talent in a napkin and burying the talent. Because you have to, as the Apostle Paul said, you have to declare the whole gospel. We have an unction from the Holy One, and we know all things. So if you know all things, you got to tell all things. Anyway, I want to go to this one precept for you guys to say, well, wait a minute, the mark of the beast is not in the Old Testament. Well, let me read this. Since you take the word mark, the word mark in Revelation 13 is different from the word mark in Romans 16 verse 17. Different from the word mark is different. There's a different word. Although you see the word mark, if you go to Ezekiel 9 and 4 and read on down, and it speaks about the Most High's mark, it doesn't translate to the same mark in Revelation 13 and Romans 16, just to name a few scriptures. But anyway, since you want to go with that and say every time you come across the word mark, it all means the same thing, whether it be in the Old Testament or New Testament. Anyway, let me just read this. Okay? It says, Job 16, and see, what we do is we qualify the scriptures. We're not just going to read a scripture, that's what it means. We qualify the scriptures as to what the particular words mean in that particular verse. As Apostle Gabar says, you guys are lazy. It said, Job 16 verse 11 and 12, it said, the Most High have delivered me to the ungodly. Now, who's the ungodly? Esau, the Edomites. And I'm going to show you in these precepts, vocab Malone, that Esau is still in the power seat. Because Jake is on the bottom and the Most High getting ready to visit. Well, he is visiting him through the angels, through the Lord and the angels, with these ships. 11 verse, the Most High have delivered me to the ungodly, which are Esau, are the Edomites, and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Malachi 1, Edomites are the wicked. It says in the 12th verse, I was at ease, but he have broken me asunder. You go through the history of us being put in slave ships, so many of us dying in the so-called Middle Passage, us being put on auction blocks, and this all happened. Now don't come with you simple ass niggas, well, where the auction blocks at, Ock? That proved there were no auction blocks. Oh boy, like the ships. That certain guy, Jake, saying, oh, if we came over here in slave ships, where the ships at? Well, where the 52 Chevys at? Was there such a thing called 52 Chevy? And there was millions of them, I would guess. Where they at? Anyway, it says, I was ease, 12 verse, Job 16 verse 12. I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by my neck. A yoke of iron shall be put about thy neck, right? So that's talking about slavery, and we're still in slavery, but the The yoke about our neck are documents, our contracts. See, that's why Jake can't just get up and leave. You know, these comedic individuals, if they were so deep into that comedic stuff, they would go back to Africa. Now you might say, well, what about you Israelites? Why aren't you back in the land of Israel? Because we're not supposed to be there, because the Lord is going to destroy that place and destroy America. And he has to have the elect here so he can deliver them from America and around the world. Because the elect is scattered around the world. But there are literally thousands of Jakes that had went back to the land of Israel and had children there. We're talking about, 3-4 generations of children. Because that group went back. Benjamin, he led a group to go to Africa. I believe it was Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. Then from there they went to Israel. But that we're talking about 68, 69 into the 70s, man. So all that comedic stuff, is nonsense. That's why nobody listens to you guys. That's why that comedic stuff is dead. Anyway, it says, 12 verse again, Job 16 verse 12. I was at ease. Yeah, one time we was in our kingdom. And when we went to the western coast of Africa, this is something that ISUPK doesn't teach. Well, you from Ghana, you a Hamite. Because they don't get deep. The scriptures speak about us. Give you one scripture. Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. It speaks about us being scattered, and there's many other scriptures that speak about us being scattered. So do you mean to tell me they're not scattered? Israel's all over the place. Israel go to different countries and make that country great. All the greatness, the great sports legends and great people. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, just to name a few in the sporting world. We make things happen, man. I remember when prior to SUVs and Jeeps, a Jeep was a vehicle that you would just ride off-road. You go up into the woods and the mountains. Well, Jake made the Jeep urban. So you know what Esau does? Because Esau, this is what Tariq Nasheed said. He says that there's certain Edomites that all they do is study Jake, and they'll make things happen based upon what Jake does. So I'm just using the example of the Jeep. Jake took the Jeep, the drug dealers and the ballers and the shot callers, old school. Anyway, they take the Jeep and they would urbanize it. They would make it somewhat to a luxury car. So that's when Esau said, well, wait a minute, man, let's make this Jeep thing a luxury thing. That's why you got the Escalade, you got the all of these, you got what's called an SUV, sports utility vehicle, which is based upon the Jeep. And then you got that from Jake. Anyway, let's read on. I'm sorry. It says, so even in this captivity, we have made it easy for us. Oh, let's look at let's talk about Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had a special on it because it was a 100-year anniversary of that event. And Esau tore that place down because you know what? Jake was doing so good. They wasn't thinking about Esau. They were doing their own thing. So that's another thing you're going to have to pay for. It says 12 verse. I was at ease You were doing good, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces and set me up to his mark. So if you want to say that every time you come across the word mark, it all means the same thing. If you come across the word mark in the New Testament, it means the same thing in the Old Testament. So guess what? There goes your scripture. It says, and set me up for his mark. What is the mark? The mark of the beast. Now we know that that's not actually talking about that, but for you lazy Israelites out there that don't really go into words, you're not wordsmiths. You don't go into the etymon of the word. You don't know if the word is based upon a Hebrew word, a Greek word, a Latin word. You don't do no deep study. So now let's go into the precepts. First precept. It says Psalms 59 verse 5. Thou therefore, O Lord Yahweh, the Most High of hosts, the power of Israel. Why does it say in Psalms the power of Israel, the God of Israel? Because the Most High is dealing with the Israelites. He's not dealing with any other nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. That's Psalms 147, 19 and 20. So that hasn't changed, vocab. Now vocab, Malone uses a term, there's a term called replacement theology. And that means that anytime you come across a Testament, it's really talking about the body of believers. So you can be an Edomite, but you're a spiritual Israelite. You can be a Moabite, but you're a spiritual. No, that's not talking about that. The Most High is dealing with the national Israel. Anyone who's lying goes back. I don't care if the guy looks like Dennis the Menace. If his father or his grandfather or great grandfather is a Jake or a Gadite or one of the tribes, I don't give a damn what he looks like, man. That's a Jake, and you're gonna have Israelites looking just like Edomites. It says Psalm 59 verse 5 once again. It says, thou therefore, O Lord Yahweh the Most High, the power of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor. Now this was a prayer. This was a Psalm of David. Now when you read the first verse, Psalm 59 verse 1, it says the chief musician, it goes on to say of David, when Saul sent and they watched the house to kill him. Deliver me from the enemy, O power, defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. Now he was talking about Saul. So Saul is dead and gone. That's old history. So now, do we throw away? Do we tear out the page where it speaks Psalms in 59 chapter? No, because Psalms 59 chapter refers to us now. So who would be the wicked? Who would be the spiritual Saul, so to say? It will be the Edomites. Read that again. Psalms 59 verse 5. Thou therefore, O Lord, power of the hosts, the power of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. And the heathen are talking about the other nations. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor. So, if the U.S. Air Force and the Esau's military, you trying to find answers, we're giving you the answers. And even this guy Lionel on RT, he said you don't know, they could be the angels. He said they could be the chosen people. Because one thing I give to these devils, these Edomites, it says that they're wiser than Daniel. Daniel was a wise man. So the scriptures say that they are wiser than Daniel. There's nothing that they can hide from thee. So Esau knows that these so-called UFO / UAP sightings are the angels. They know that. They just don't want to say it. They admitted, they said, look, there are beings out there from another world. We don't know who they are. They motherfuckers lying. They lying. They damn well know who they are. They know that they're the angels. They know that the Lord is getting ready to deliver us, man. And they know that we're the Israelites. Let's move on. This is Psalms 106 verse 4. I'm going to start at the 3rd verse. You know what? I'm going to start the 1st verse. It said, praise ye Yahweh, O give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Who can utter the mighty acts of Yahweh? Who can show forth all his praise? So we're to constantly praise him. Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times. Remember me, O Yahweh, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. O visit me with thy salvation. So this visitation is for two people. For Esau, because the Most High the Lord is getting ready to destroy Esau, and to deliver Jake. So the Lord and the angels are going to do two things. They're coming to destroy this place and to deliver Jake. And it's going to happen at the same time, simultaneously. The scriptures say the righteous shall scarcely make it. So when that thing happens, and it is going to happen, it's going to be a major event. The whole world is going to stop. And it's going to come as a thief in the night to them that don't know the Most High. And Esau, you don't know the Most High. Let me read the 5th verse. Let me read the 4th verse again. Remember me, O Yahweh, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people, which are the Israelites. We read that in the last precept. O visit me with thy salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen. Who are the chosen of the Most High? The national Israel. That I may rejoice in the goodness of thy nation, the nation of the sons of Israel, that I may glory with thine inheritance. Now, inheritance, as Vocab said, he was right. Inheritance is the land. You know, when you get inherited something, you get inherited with the land and everything that's on the land. So yes, we are going to get the land, which is this whole earth. Next precept. Jeremiah 15 verse 15. O Yahweh, thou now knoweth, remember me, and visit me, and revenge me of my persecutors. Who are persecutors? Esau. So is Israel being persecuted? Yeah. Who's persecuting them? Esau, the Edomites. Take me not away in thy long suffering. Know that for thy sake I have suffered rebuke. And we are suffering rebuke. We're paying for the fact that our foreparents, which are us, went off from the Most High, and the Most High punished us. And if you go into the history of Israel, he punished us. He sent a nation against us. We knew the name. We called on the name. The Most High heard our cries and sent the deliverer. So the Most High said, you know what? I'm gonna take the name from you, so you can't call on me. It says in 1 Kings. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me go ahead and see if I can get that. 1 Kings, the 8th chapter. And this is a prayer of Solomon, which is Yahweh Shai. And he said, well, let's go to it. 1 Kings 8. I believe it's around about the 40th verse. Let me try this. I know it's around about the 40th verse. Okay, I see it here. Wow, this is in a lot of places, so I got to jump around. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the 33rd verse. 1 Kings 8 verse 33. When thy people Israel be smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, and shall turn again to thee, and confess thy name, and pray and make supplication unto thee in this house, then hear thou in heaven, and forgive the sin of thy people Israel, and bring them again unto the land which thou gavest unto their fathers. 35th verse. When heaven is shut up, and there is no rain, because they have sinned against thee, if they pray toward this place and confess thy name and turn from their sins, when thou afflictest them, hear now and forgive them of their sins. So now we're going to jump down to the 40th verse. First Kings 8 verse 40, that they may fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou gavest unto our fathers. Moreover, concerning a stranger. Now this stranger is talking about an Israelite that was raised in another land, that is not of thy people Israel, but now that's talking about the Gentiles, Israelites. Because you had Israelites that said, we're not your people. And Israelites said, no, you're not our people. That's what the whole story of Cornelius is all about. At first they didn't want to accept Cornelius because they looked at him as being as another nation, a stranger. But eventually He came into the circle, the fold, so to speak. So it says, so this word here, it says, moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people, but cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray toward this house. Now, what's this devil's name? Antiochus Epiphanes, when the Most High struck him and slowly killed him, tortured him, he was praising the Most High. The Most High didn't turn around and say, oh, okay, I'm going to heal you. Because he wasn't an Israelite. It says here in the 43rd verse, hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth thee for, that all people of the earth may know thy name, because ultimately all the nations are going to know the name of the Most High. To fear thee as do thy people Israel, and that they may know this, that this house which I have built is called by thy name. Now the house represents, in the biggest sense, it represents Israel, because we're also known as the tabernacle of David. It says, if thy people, 44th verse, if thy people go out to battle against thy enemies, their enemies, whithersoever thou shalt send them, and shall pray unto Yahweh toward the city which thou hast chosen, Jerusalem, and toward the house that I have built for thy name, then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. So the Most High is beginning to maintain our cause. Next precept. Jeremiah 27 verse 22. It said, they shall be carried to Babylon, and there shall they be until the day that I visit them. So that's talking about ancient Babylon, pagan Babylon, but now it refers to America, modern Babylon. So we're still here in this land. Jake ain't going no goddamn where. Jake is talking about, where's my reparations? Jake ain't talking about going back to Africa. At one time they said that crap. Oh, we're going to go back to Africa. The white man ain't treating us right. We're going back to... You Negroes are still here, man. Even Ghana opened up their arms, to welcome you back in. You ain't getting, and they're willing to help you financially. So you Negroes, you tribes, you've been here so goddamn long. You made this your goddamn homeland, man. Jeremiah 27 verse 22. They shall be carried to Babylon, and there we were carried to Babylon, the ancient Babylon, and we were taken to Babylon against our will in slavery, which is America. Spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And there shall they be until the day that I visit them. So when is Jake going to come out of this place? When the Most High destroy this place, and when he delivers the elect of Israel, 144,000 and the 1/3. As I say of the Lord, bring them up and restore them to this place. So ultimately, this place is talking about the headquarters of the whole planet, or the capital of the whole planet, is going to be Jerusalem. Jeremiah 29 verse 10. For thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon. Now we know that this is talking about ancient Babylon. But when you read Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, especially when you read Jeremiah the 50th chapter and Jeremiah the 51st chapter, it's not talking about ancient Babylon. Although when Jeremiah saw them visions and he was scribing it and it became that book, the book of Jeremiah, he thought it was talking about ancient Babylon. He didn't know that it was talking about a future Babylon, which is America. It says, for thus, Jeremiah 29 verse 10, for thus saith Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished. And I believe if you go to the actual record, I believe it was cut short. I believe it was 67, 68 years. So they didn't even make the 70. But that's a whole nother subject and a whole nother question to be answered. It said in Babylon, ancient Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to this place. Causing who to return to this place? Israel. Jeremiah 32 verse 5. And he shall lead Zedekiah to Babylon, ancient Babylon. And there, like you got guys like Vocab and other Christians, they'll come across the word Babylon. And no matter how many times they come across it, oh, it's talking about ancient Babylon in the off of the Euphrates. No, it ain't talking about that. You even have the military when they went in Desert Storm. They said, well, this is the fulfillment of Babylon because that was the original Babylon. So they'll go to Revelation and they'll speak about the destruction of Babylon. And they'll say it's talking about this Babylon, the ancient Babylon. No, it's not talking about that. But the elite know that everything that we teach, the elite know and agree, but they're not going to come out and admit it. They know that we're Israelites, as I said before. And they know that they're Edomites. And he shall lead and he shall lead Zedekiah to Babylon, and there shall he be united, and there shall he be until I visit him. Saith Yahweh. Though ye fight with the Chaldeans, ye shall not prosper. And you did not prosper if you thought to fight against the Babylonians. And the same goes for America. You know, you got this guy, Grandmaster Jay, got a bunch of Jakes with guns, and now you don't hear him no more. He was like he had his little 15 minutes of fame. You don't hear about this guy no more. And there was a point where he would put up videos and so many people were attacking him that he put up videos and took down the comment section. Jeremiah 49 verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon you, or upon him, the time that I will visit him. Let me read that again. Jeremiah 49 verse 8. And really you should read this whole chapter. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. And this is getting ready to happen. So anybody that tells you that Esau was done away with, they don't know the scriptures. Jeremiah 50 verse 31. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud. What does the book of Obadiah say? The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock. And one of the things that make them proud is they think they're going to go on forever. Psalm 49 and 11. Excuse me. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Yahweh of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. So the Most High is visiting you. 32nd verse. And the most proud Esau shall stumble and fall, and none shall rise him up. Now, Trump, he said he's going to make America great again. America's not going to be made great again. And then Trump is not even heard of anymore. When Trump was the president, every day you saw him. And now they don't, because you know what? You have a certain segment of Edomites, a certain group of Edomites that have control over the media. Why you think Trump is trying to set up his own media platform? Because they ain't giving him no say. So that shows you that he really didn't have no power. It was the elites that set this man up, and maybe they would have had him go another 4 years. But you know what? He bucked up, which was a good thing. He didn't follow the script. He was doing his own thing, and the first mention of the Crown Vic Royale, one of the first things he said, I remember him saying that, he said this is a hoax, and he was against this thing. And then he said, nah, April, Easter, we should be out there. But the elite that were over them and, in the cut, so to speak, they didn't want that, man, because they have an agenda. So now it's coming out that this guy Fauci put out, and I'm not even going to get into it right now, but there was a series of emails where he got leaked. And he got caught out there. But they did what they were supposed to do. They got you to get that goddamn jab, and they damn near destroyed the middle class. And if you have in a society, every society has a middle class. The middle class keeps the poor up and the rich rich. When you destroy the middle class, you have nothing, man. You have the super rich and you have the peasants. It says, Jeremiah 50 verse 32, and the most proud Esau shall stumble and fall, and none shall rise him up. America is not going to be great again. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. 33rd verse. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah will press together. That didn't happen in ancient Babylon. And all that took them captive held them fast. Esau still got us. They refused to let them go. Goes on to say in the 34th verse, their Redeemer is strong, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest, which is the kingdom, to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. How is he going to disquiet them? He's going to destroy them. A sword is upon the Chaldeans. That sword is the Most High sword, saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, America, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. Next precept. Lamentation 4 verse 22. I'm going to start at I'll start at 21. It says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. They can rejoice and be glad now because they're on top. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. So when you go back to the 50s, you know, you had Edomites. Even before the 50s, you had Edomites that, you know, went to church on Sundays, and the what do you call it, the nucleus family. You had the father, the mother, the kids, the dog spot, you know. And you would think that these are good, wholesome people, but behind the scenes, they were a lot of them were homosexuals. And man, I was working yesterday, and everywhere I went, it seemed like I saw an Edomite that was a damn Mo. Walking with one guy, I thought it was a damn woman, and I looked real good. I said, that's a fucking man. And the dude was switching, and he had a ponytail. And I didn't even get mad because the scriptures tell you, goes into the fact that they will, Nahum 3, they will become as women. They will become as women. And Esau does it proudly. So that's your nakedness. It says, it's also in Isaiah 47. Lamentation 4 verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, which represents Israel, not Judah. As Yeshua, high priest Yeshua would say, oh, the daughters of Zion represent Judah. No, the daughter of Zion represent all of Israel, all the tribes. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. O daughter of Edom is still here. Edom is still here, and the daughter of Zion is still here, which is Israel. So vocab. How in the hell was Esau done away with? That shows that you don't know the scriptures. So I'm gonna leave you with one more precept. Revelation 20 and verse 7. Okay, it says here in the headline, it says Satan freed, doomed. It says it gives you the two precepts. It gives you Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel 39. So it says, Revelation 20 verse 7, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison. So you got individuals out there that don't know how to break this down, because as you read from the first verse, let me go to the first verse. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the keys of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is this devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now we know that's talking about from the time of the destruction of the slow destruction of the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. There was two empires. The Eastern Roman Empire was in power for 1,000 years, and that the Eastern Roman Empire was ruled by Jake. It says, in cast him, third verse, and cast him into the bottomless pit, Europe, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. So that was during that 1,000-year period. If you want to put actual dates on it, from 325 all the way up into 1325, 1350, the 1400s, because Esau started slowly coming back into power. So now when you jump down to the 7th verse, that's what it's talking about. After the 1,000 years of them being under our feet. It says, 7th verse, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan, which is the adversary, which are you Edomites, shall be loose out of his prison, because it was a spiritual prison. But he was physically under us, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, north, south, east, and west, Gog and Magog, that's talking about Russia, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints. Now the camp of the saints is Jerusalem, but the camp of the saints are, first and foremost, are the Israelites. So their goal is to destroy us. The Georgia Guidestones maintain humanity to 500 million. Now there's almost 8 billion people on the earth, so they're planning on destroying damn near 8 billion people. 7.5 billion people. Now Kissinger said, to Henry Kissinger, if you look up useless eaters, that, I don't know if he originated that term, but he spoke about it, and I believe he even wrote a book about it, and he spoke about the useless eaters, and he basically said the useless eaters are the dark nations. The Indians, the Pakistanians, the Africans. It says, the 9th verse, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. We are the beloved city, first and foremost. And fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them. And that fire is what? The nuclear fire, the ICBM missiles, that's going to destroy this place at certain parts of the earth, and the lasers that's going to come out of the ships, the chariots. 10th verse, and the devil that deceived them. Who's the devil that deceived them? Esau, the elite of Esau. And the devil, and part of the deception is the mark of the beast. And so you got to be mindful of these Israelite groups, because some of them have sold out. Some of them have made a deal with the devil. One guy said, go ahead and take it. Go ahead and take the jab. Well, he clearly sold out. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. The false prophet represents the Roman Catholic Church and all the daughter churches of the Roman Catholic Church. Where the beast and the false prophet, the beast represents the military system, the political system, and the false prophet represents the religious system of Esau. and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.